You have arrived at Laughbox, the podcast for the Association of Applied and Therapeutic Humor. We are so excited you're here. Join us for episode 130 with Jim Bob Williams, Katy B, and special guest, comedian and speaker Mike Cotayo. Yay!
Welcome to Laughbox, the official podcast of the Association for Applied and Therapeutic Humor. I'm Jim Bob Williams.
And I'm Katy B.
And our special guest today is motivational speaker, comedian, all-around wonderful human being, Mike Cotayo.
Yay!
Hey, everybody.
All right.
What's going on? Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be doing this.
So you have a really super special and interesting story. So first we want to get to know you. Who are you? What are you doing?
I don't know, that's a loaded question. I'm a stand-up comedian. I'm a motivational speaker. I have my MSW. I sometimes work as a social worker to supplement my income from the other stuff. And I've always been a fan of using humor to get through the tough times. When I was a baby, when I was 18 months old, I was in a really bad drunk driving accident. I should never have been driving, to be honest. But, I died literally, and they brought me back to life, and I ended up being in a coma, and I had a brain injury, and because of that brain injury, I have what looks like cerebral palsy. I can't use the left side of my body too well. I walk with a limp and my left arm is messed up. That's where I am. They told my family I wouldn't be much more than a vegetable. I came a long way from broccoli.
Yeah. Wow, yeah. You're not broccoli.
I'm not broccoli anymore.
Nope. I see a handsome fella over there who looks fabulous. Anyway, go on. Sorry.
Oh,
I'm a compliment giver.
I got this haircut for you today.
Nice.
Yeah, life was interesting growing up. Like, my family was the type who laughed at everything, and like it formed who I am. And I am not the funniest person in my family. I will 1,000 times tell you that. There's so many people who are way funnier than I am. I like being on stage. I like making people laugh. I went to school to be a social worker, and I did that for a very long time. I still do that. And during the pandemic, I put together this program that helped people in the mental health field, actually the whole medical field, learn how to use humor effectively with their patients. And so I put that together. I created this online course, and I did nothing with it. And so it's just sitting there. It's a great program, but no one's used it. That's kind of me in a nutshell. I have great ideas. The execution is always a problem.
Hey, that program is still needed.
Yeah, and I think that's just a human problem. Shiny object syndrome. You know what I mean?
Oh, I got shiny object syndrome big time.
So
I'm like a big kid. Like, I wake up super early. My wife stays in bed super late. And like, after about 2 or 3 hours of being downstairs by myself this morning, I came in the bedroom about 9:30 and just start jumping on the bed and wake up, come play with me.
Nice.
Like,
We support that behavior, by the way.
I always think, how the hell am I an adult? Like, this
I'm on that page with you, sir.
adult is boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dr. Seuss said that adults are just obsolete children.
I have a 10-year-old, and one day she's getting ready for school, and she's being 10 is tough. I go, yeah, I could see that, but I decided I'm gonna be happy at any age because I decided I'm never gonna grow up. And without missing a beat, she goes, I could see that.
Nice.
And then that morning, I'm dropping her off at school, and we're listening to the radio, and something comes on where they say the word duty, and I just crack up laughing. And she looks at me and she goes, "That's immature."
Ah, that's great.
Being told off by a 10-year-old.
Oh, that's wonderful. When did you first use humor to solve a problem?
So I have this story. I learned at a very early age that because I was a kid with a disability, people wanted to feel sorry for me. It was just the way it was. Like, oh, that poor boy, look at him. So I realized early on, if I could make people laugh, they wouldn't feel sorry for me. So I developed my humor really as a coping mechanism to make myself feel normal or to make others treat me normal. And I just had my 30-year high school reunion, and people were like, "Oh, I've seen you on YouTube. You're really funny." I'm like, "Thank you." And some guy I used to sit behind in every class goes, "I remember you were so funny," and you would just someone would say something and you mutter something funny under your breath, and then you just look at me to see if I laugh. I'm like, "Sounds like me."
That's great. And you said your family was funny. So you
Right.
had this really serious tragedy in your family, and you grew up laughing about it, would you say?
Yeah, so my mom's family's Irish, and the Irish are like, they're just the Irish culture, naturally good storytellers, naturally very funny people. And I grew up around that. I also grew up around a lot of alcohol and drugs, but that's another story. It's just the way it is. I grew up hearing laughter, and after the car accident, we moved in with my grandparents, who had a house filled with, I think there were 13 people and 2 dogs. I'm not even making that up. There were my grandparents had 7 kids, and my great grandmother also lived there with her daughter, and there were 9, 10, 11, and maybe 12. So maybe 12 and 2 dogs, but still, that's a lot of people.
Wow, yeah. And my dad's side is Irish, and my mom's side is funny. So, like, I get it. It's like when you grow up with it, I remember very specific things about how funny they were and funny things they had and
Right.
all that kind of stuff. So I get that. And I was a sick kid too, in a different way, but
How?
I
How
had
were you?
I had asthma from the time I was 3. And every time we went
Oh,
on vacations, I took us to the ER because I couldn't breathe.
nice. That was like your Disney World.
All right. And then, yeah, they thought I had cancer by the time I was 7.
Oh
That
my
turned out to
God.
be negative, and I got a concussion on my bike at 7. There's just this litany of stuff that happened as a kid, and I was the only one. And so some people had trouble, but like my mom calls me the fun one now because all I wanted to do was sing and dance. Get there, you have to find ways to cope, and then the more close the family is able to be, I think the more resilience you show.
It's funny. I think kids are super resilient, and I up until I was old enough to know there was something wrong with me, I didn't know there was anything wrong with me. So you're just different. So like your whole world is just around that.
Speaking of high school, one of my best friends was the female goalie for the hockey team, and she had
Mm-hmm.
epilepsy. So she'd be in the hallway having an epilepsy moment, and then she'd be up 5 minutes later, like, all right, I got to go to hockey practice. She's the goalie
I
for the
love
boys
that.
team.
Was on the boys team?
On the boys team, there wasn't a girls team.
Wow.
I know. She's
Wow.
amazing. She's still
She
amazing.
must have been kick-ass.
She was very inspirational. And that kind of stuff helps to know that everybody's got something. And
Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about how you ended up on stage the first time. Or did you do theater as a kid in school?
As a kid, yeah, I did. I was in plays ever since I was like 10, 11. I did school plays, and then I did community theater. And in high school, I was in the drama club, and
Mm.
but I always liked making people laugh. I always, when I had a role, even if it wasn't funny, I would make it funny. I remember I was in this play, The Gift of the Magi,
Okay.
and I played the shopkeeper, and it was just a very dry script, and I
Huh.
gave him an accent, and I made it very quirky, and I was just having fun with it. And so every time I had an opportunity to make someone laugh, I did.
Yeah.
And my family was always good in sports, and I thought I wasn't, because I couldn't really participate in sports like they could. But I found out when I was older and I started working out and doing things on my own. I'm also gifted in that area. I just didn't know it back then because my body didn't work the way other people's did. But I
Right.
found like boxing later in life and jujitsu, and I love those contact sports. They're just a lot of fun.
Nice.
You just can't resist the punchline.
I can't resist a punch of any kind.
So, what was it like when you did your first open mic? When did you say, I'm going to do stand up? That's going to be my art form.
The first time I performed, I think it was on a show, and it was the old Boston Comedy Club in New York City.
Hmm.
And it was like I went up there and I did what was supposed to be 5 minutes of material, and I kept on going, and I blew the light. And the blow the light means you keep on going past when you're supposed to get off stage. And they were flickering this blue light, and I go, "Ooh, look, a blue light, the blue light special." And I just kept on talking. It was horrible. That's one thing. I have trouble with my memory, and I think it could be brain injury, but I don't think it is. I think it's past drug use that really destroyed my brain. So I have a hard time remembering things now, and that makes it hard for me to stick to any script. Like I can't memorize my act, and so when I have to do showcase shows, those are the hardest because I have to go in order and make a story. When I am like most comfortable on stage, what is when I can just be free and not worry. And like I've gone into new cities, got on stage and performed and gotten off stage, and comics will come up to me and they're like, "Man, you're an animal on stage." And my on stage persona is so much, not so much different, but it's different than how I am. Like I'm laid back. I'm not like, look at me all the time. And do a podcast with some people who are based in Michigan, in Kalamazoo, Michigan. So I'm like really fast on my feet. I think quick. Like I, people, I describe myself as a cross between Robin Williams and Mitch Hedberg, like very fast and but also very like quirky and silly.
Love
So
it.
That's
Love
a
it.
great combination.
Yeah.
Now, like what you said about when people come in and when they approach a handicapped person, there's this, I don't know, father, and I've heard other people mention it, and if you use humor to change the mood, it goes from, it's just a wonderful mood changer, although it makes you somewhat of a pity party pooper, because
what do you mean?
they start out and, oh, this is so terrible, this is so sad, and this long litany of why they should have pity, and you're saying, no, we're going to turn this around, we're going to have a party. And so I'm gonna be a pity party pooper, and I'm gonna change the conversation and have fun. I'm gonna have fun with you.
Them. You should agree with them and try to get money out of them. That's what I do.
Oh,
You're right. It's a hard life. I'm trying to save up money. Could you? I have an operation coming up. I just need your donation of $5 could go a long way.
Here's my Patreon. Yeah, we got to do that.
Nice. So let's
There-
talk about, oh, go ahead, finish what you were thinking.
No, please.
Let's talk about your motivational speaking.
Yeah.
So tell us about how you started doing that and all of that. What you'd like to say.
I kind of got into it by accident. Like I was hired to do a show where they wanted me to talk about being a person with a disability, and it just developed from there. And I tried to create like a talk around it, and those were helpful. And I think like I can go really dark, so it's hard to be inspirational when you're talking about dark things. So sometimes it doesn't work so well, but I try.
I believe we all have a right to be a little bit dark, as we've all survived various things in our lives. But yeah, so let's see. When did you, so you got invited to speak as a motivational speaker for people with disabilities? Is that right?
Yeah, so I've done it. I've done this for people, suicidal organization, not suicidal organizations, anti-suicide.
Yeah, that's right.
We're gonna kill ourselves. Yes. And disability organizations, United Cerebral Palsy, the MS Society, traumatic brain injury. So I've done the whole cripple circuit. It's a good thing. And I like being able to spread a message and help people.
I want to experience, and we can edit it if we have to, because we're not very blue here, but I'm so curious what your dark side looks like.
It's pretty dark.
You consider it like gallows humor? This is coping
It's gallows
humor.
humor. So in 2021, I did this pay-per-view special. And my mom passed away November 2nd, 2021. I saw her on Halloween, and she said to me, I'll buy a ticket to your show, but I'm not going to go because I've seen your material. and my dad says the same thing. You curse way too much and you talk way too dirty for me. So
that's some good information.
Yeah.
Probably don't have to go too much further than that. But it did help you cope. Being able to express yourself in that way was also a coping strategy. No?
You mean being dark? Yes, it is a coping strategy. Just I worked as a social worker. I worked with people who wanted to kill themselves, who are psychotic, who I once had this woman tell me she was manic depressive and in the middle of a psychotic break, and she was sitting in an office, and I was talking to her and we were waiting for EMS to come. And she started to tell me about how she had sex with Kermit the Frog. And
wow. Okay.
I was cracking up. I was not cracking up in the moment, but when I walked away, I'm like, that is some funny stuff right there.
Oh man, yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
It's proven that people that are in high stress jobs, EMS, police, rescue workers, whatnot, that the dark humor is a form of release. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's something that they can share with each other. And if you haven't been part of that traumatic experience, you're either going to find it incredibly offensive or it won't be funny because, oh my goodness, how can you make fun of blank?
Most people find it incredibly offensive. And some of the darkest things I've experienced has been while working as a healthcare worker. So it's hilarious and it's hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And when did you stop doing? Oh, you're still doing it sometimes, but
I do
it like a travel social worker?
Yeah, right now I have a contract job for 13 weeks working in a mental health clinic It's to pay off some debt so I could go back on the road and not worry about my family starving.
Yeah, of course.
And you do what you got to do.
Oh, of course. I have a nonprofit running around giving spontaneous moments of joy by standing ovations to random strangers just to break up the day.
That's hilarious. Like I could picture you running out into the sidewalk going, yeah, for you.
Oh, you can
Yes.
see a lot of it. It's all over social media.
You have to experience this. Seriously, you have to experience this. Yeah. So I don't think people realize how much stress there is in social work. It's and I don't, probably one of the most underappreciated professions we have today. So what would you like people to know about social work that they may not know?
We can do a lot of things. Our jobs expand from helping people with benefits to doing long-term psychotherapy. So we can do a ton of things. Like, and I am a guy with ADHD. That's what drew me to the field. Like I've had at least 5 different careers in social work alone. Like I've been an administrator, I've been a director, I've been a group worker, I've been a drug and alcohol counselor, I've been like therapist. I've done a bunch of different things. So when I get bored with one thing, I look for something else.
Have you ever used humor in counseling?
Of course, yeah. In 2007, I started a private practice. And in 2011, 2010, 2011, I got this one client and we worked together for about 10 years. And when she left, after my mom died, I just stopped seeing people. I couldn't be helpful to anyone but myself. Like I was grieving really hard. And so I got rid of pretty much my whole caseload. And this one woman I worked with for a long time said to me, when I'm going to be looking for a new therapist, resilience humor is going to be huge on my list of what to look for in a therapist. So like I laugh with my clients always. Like I use laughter strategically to help them get through something and get to a perspective that they might not otherwise have, and it's helpful.
I've been trying to teach improv to a couple of local rehab facilities, and it's interesting because I was trying to do some simple improv games. I thought they were simple, okay, but one guy stopped me because we're just playing the alphabet game where you start a sentence with one letter of the alphabet,
Right.
the next person has to respond with the next letter of the alphabet. Okay. And he said, Guy, you got to realize I've only been clean for about a week. Okay. My neurons aren't firing yet. So let's try something else. So I said, okay, fine.
Oh my God. I was addicted to crack cocaine for a few years. And like when I finally got sober for the last time, like I couldn't put sentences together. I remember I got clean 3 days before Thanksgiving, and I was home for Thanksgiving, and my mom goes, "What's wrong with you? You look high." I'm like, "I'm not high now. I was coming down." But I didn't tell her that. I have a very tight family, and when I was using, I tried to stay away from them as much as possible so they didn't see. And people were surprised when they found out how bad it was.
Wow. Tell us about your podcast.
So this is just a fun podcast I do with a few other people, and there are like 5 or 6 people on the podcast, and we rotate in and out, and it's called the Slap Tail Squad, and it's a lot of fun.
Wait a minute. Wait. Did you say slap tail squad?
Squad, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it's a lot of fun and I enjoy it. I enjoy the people I'm on there with. They take shots at me all the time. It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah. Do you have a topic or is it just really for fun and improv just to?
Yeah, it's random. Sometimes the guy who runs it will pick out a topic and say, we're going to talk about this or we're going to talk, but it can go anywhere.
Right on. And here we go. Can I give you something for being alive today? Thank you for being wonderful and beautiful and on this earth today. Thank you so much for getting up and for just opening your eyes this morning. You deserve everything you ever dreamed of. And you have a little light all day. Do you mind, we videotape this, do you mind if we use it for social media? Yeah, that's fine. The whole purpose is to give you a moment of joy in your day because we all deserve it.
Thanks.
And you're recognized because you exist.
Can I hug you?
Nice.
Well, it's nice. We always share a little bit about ourselves. So Jim Bob, why don't you talk about yourself? You've talked a little bit. He's been doing stand-up. We both do improv, applied improv. I've been up stand-up twice. It wasn't terrible. But I used to call myself a cross between Strawberry Shortcake and Xena the Warrior Princess. But my hair's not my hair's not pink anymore, so it doesn't make much sense. Anyway, Jim Bob, go.
Okay. All right, where to begin? I'm a recovered engineer. I retired from engineering when I discovered community theater, improv, and stand-up. Then also got interested in learning. I knew humor helped me in my career. Humor was always part of my family life too. Always a big part of it. And humor worked. I didn't know why. And I came across the AATH conference and I realized, oh, there is a science behind this. And there are people that are using it in all kinds of ways. So it got me really excited. So now I'm in my second childhood, learning more about the application of humor to all sorts of situations.
Which your commercial is the grandpa and all the different ways that you played that character that you talked about sounded like what Mike was saying about doing more. What's the word I was looking for? Making everything funny. Oh, when it's not a funny character, making it a funny character. That's what you've been doing on stage, Jim Bob.
Yeah, there are no small parts. You can milk them for a lot more than they think they can. And how did your directors react when you took liberties with the character?
Most of them let me run with it. And
Yeah.
I always had fun. I tried. Most of them were like very cool with letting me just do my thing.
I just want to reflect. I see you as so super grounded, Mike. You are grounded. You are attached to the earth. You are working in these very heartfelt ways with especially social work. I know it's a heart job. And I just want to give you credit for you've really created a character that stands out on stage. And here you are, this really beautiful, grounded, super person.
I have a touch of bipolar, so the groundedness can go away at any minute. But part of it is being a mental health professional. Like I've used the tools I give to people all the time. Like I have extreme anger problems, and I work really hard at keeping that under control. And I've learned to acknowledge when I'm angry and stop it in its tracks.
Yeah, and that can be a result of a TBI, right?
I guess I think I come from a very angry family.
Well, you're Irish.
Yeah, we're Irish.
Funny and angry. Go ahead.
My ex asked my mom and my aunt once, what was I like as a child? He actually asked my mom, and my aunt comes in and goes, he was stubborn as hell, which is really how I am. I'm very stubborn. You couldn't tell me what to do. If you told me one thing, I'd do the opposite.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so question ahead. You've got the website is funnymanmike.com.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And okay, the podcast is the Slaptail Squad. right there.
I've
Are there
done
any-
I've done two other podcasts, but they were short-lived. One was the Funny Shrink podcast, and the other was Comics Unchained. And I love doing both of them. It was just like it was hard to I'm like life got in the way of just making everything happen.
Yeah, they sound awesome. And you have another website, mikekatayo.com.
Yes, Cotayo. I have somebody who is producing and directing a documentary about me. So I'm
Wow.
like
Hey,
where we just got a line producer, and a line producer is someone that gets the money in order.
Uh-huh.
And so we're gonna reconvene in September and do a lot of the shooting then, and it should be hopefully out next year. And
Awesome.
I've been trying to put together this comedy festival for comedians with disabilities, and it's called the Stand Up If You Can Comedy Festival.
Oh,
And
So good.
we're I'm trying to get it all together, and there's not enough time in the day.
We didn't say too much about AATH, but let's talk just for a second. So you and ATH.
I was involved with ATH about 15 years ago,
Oh, never mind then.
maybe longer. No, but give the spiel. Yeah.
Okay, so AATH is the Association for Applied and Therapeutic Humor. We
Mhm.
do our best to find the research, the latest research about neurology and humor. We find research about how humor helps at work, how humor can help safety, how humor helps us as individuals and communities. And we are here to talk about all of those things. But the Association of Applied and Therapeutic Humor, the conference in April, is the biggest dose of dopamine in
Yeah.
your year.
Actually, the
It's bad.
I
2025
went to
conference.
it once or twice. Yeah.
Nice, nice.
Now, the 2025 conference is going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina,
Ooh.
and it'll be the first weekend in May this year, May 1st through 4th. And
Thank you.
so
I'll edit
if
out the April.
yeah, if we could make the stars align, I think you'd be a phenomenal speaker for AATH.
I would love that.
And I don't know if Charlotte is a big enough draw for handicapped comedians to get to. It is a hub for American Airways, so there are probably some good connections there. That would be an awesome event to hold in conjunction with it. Of course,
Oh, yes.
I am talking way out of my.
No, let's
What
talk
am I-
about
Oh,
it. Yeah.
it's a beautiful dream that
Yeah.
stand up if you can. What if it was what if it was, we've done stand up. We did an impromptu stand up night. What if we did come to the conference and we could do a stand up if you can local night as part of the conference
That would be great. Yeah.
with your name on it? Wouldn't that be,
Okay.
that would, oh my God. And we don't know anything that we're talking about except brainstorming right now, but we can
Yeah.
talk to people about the possibility.
That would be great. I'd be totally down. So it was overwhelming to try to get it together in New York. And so
Mhm.
what I thought about doing was like taking one or two other disabled comics and touring around the country, and like getting one local disabled comic to host it and do the event that way. So I'm trying to figure out a lot of different things, but I need
Yeah.
10 more hours in a day to
Yeah.
do everything I want to do.
Yeah. But this could also be something good if Jim Bob, if you're communicating with the membership committee.
We're definitely going to communicate to the conference committee
Yeah,
about
yeah.
this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm sorry. I have too many tabs open right now. I like to say that I've got my idea hamsters running in the cage and flying out chips all over the place. But is there a network of handicapped comedians? Is there a formal
Not that I
association?
know of. There are a bunch of us.
Yeah,
And I must know like 15 or 20 by now, but everybody has a disability.
that's true. Yeah,
Like-
they just don't know what it is.
My first year of the festival, I would like it to be physical, visible disabilities. And then, branching out from there in different years, I would like to add autism and have an autism night or blind night or just, I have an idea of this being bigger, but I got to get it.
And if with being able to have a sense of humor too, it's like, well, Mike, this has been amazing.
Thank you so much, you guys. I really appreciate it.
I'm sorry, we have one more question that has not been asked yet.
Okay. So what do you want people to remember on Thursday about?
That I was a lot funnier on Wednesday. There's this saying in stand-up, you're only as good as your last show. And so you always try to improve yourself. And it's a good metaphor for life. We're always trying to improve ourselves. And I think that's what I want to do. I was very close to fame once, and I started to have panic attacks on stage or when I was going on stage. And so when things were starting to spiral for me, I just left and I went back 8 years later. And there's always this part of me that is, what if I stayed? What if I just barreled through and dealt with it? And my therapist said to me once, you probably would not have been able to handle it and probably would have gone deeper into drug use. Okay. That's a good point. So
yeah.
I have a Hollywood story. It's not exactly the same.
I would love to hear
it. So I lived in LA, in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. I worked on Hollywood Boulevard for DVD.com. So this is the late 90s.
I'll take memory lapses for 400.
I convinced myself, I've done some extra work. And I hadn't gone backstage yet. Later, I worked as a set dresser for movies and stunt person. But at this time, I hadn't done much. And I had decided I was leaving LA and I was going to move to Spain. And I get a phone call that says, we really need a really strange pink superhero for Party of 5. And I said, nope, see ya, I'm going to Spain.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine?
You should have done it.
Oh, I know.
You were a stunt person?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I was a circus.
Tell me.
I did circus. Oh, okay. Yeah. So I used to do performance art that was rappelling off historical architecture. And we did superhero battles over people's heads in San Francisco.
Oh, wow.
And rappelled off everything historical we could with and without permission. Mm-hmm. And then I moved to Spain and went and worked with a German troupe, stilt walking and performing around festivals for weird performance art. And then I went to circus school in Spain, and I had a human statue that you might appreciate that was a dead lady yelling for help in 14 languages. And no one ever saved her except for one Alaskan little girl who was 7 years old in 2.5 years. Wow. One little girl. But no, they gave me awards for that. I was the best reaction at the coin drop. They sent me to Just for Laughs. They sent me on the news.
That's awesome.
It was quite a journey there. And so when I went back to Detroit, my mom got breast cancer and I went back to the States. And while I was there was a Hollywood stuntman who had moved to Detroit. We started training. And then I did a stunt for the Wannabes, which was an Australian television show. And then set dressed for the movies for Red Dawn. And you can see me 15 times. You can see my pink dreadlocks in Whip It like 15 times behind Drew Barrymore. She's beating the crap out of somebody while they're doing roller derby.
What show?
It's called Whip It. Whip It.
Whip It. Cool. I was saying to my wife, if I wasn't disabled, I always wanted to be a stuntman. That was always a dream. And because she said to me, if you weren't disabled, we wouldn't be together. I'm like, why would you say? And then I told her the stuntman. She goes, yeah, we would never be together.
Yeah, what I was doing, like rappelling off castles, like we had an Inquisition show with the British troupe too, and I'd rappel off whatever castle or church they'd let me. Mm-hmm. So Spain, they let you just jump off a 12th century church and a 15th century castle. They let me and paid me to do that. So did
That's
those
great.
shows. And then 9/11 happened, and then I didn't feel so comfortable just randomly, without permission, rappelling off stuff, and it's dwindled that side of the career. Changed things a lot.
When I was a kid, there was this kids. Someone in my family was having a birthday, and they rented one of those ride machines that you pull in, and it was the pirate ship. And I was what, 11, 12, and I said, I'm gonna go up to the top tier. And my mother was like, Michael, don't go up to the top tier. Do not go up. No, I'm gonna go. Do not. And I was stubborn. Do not go up to the top tier. No. So I went up to the top tier. The ride goes. I fall off my seat and I'm hanging by the hand. And my mother just starts laughing, doubled over. Can't stop laughing. And like with her brothers and sisters cracking up. And the poor guy who's running the machine was like, why are they laughing at him? I told him not to go up there. It's his fault.
That's hilarious. Oh, Mike, this is a pleasure. I think we could talk for another 2 hours.
I got work.
I know, we do too. We got things to do. Yes. Thank you.
This has been Laughbox, the official podcast of the Association for Applied and Therapeutic Humor. I'm Jim Bob Williams.
And I'm Katy B.
And we want to thank our special guest, Mike Cotayo. And
buddy. Thank you.
And we look forward to the documentary you're working on, and look forward to stand up if you can.
Thank you so much. I'm hoping.
Yeah.
All
right. Thank you so much. What a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for joining us for episode 130 with Jim Bob Williams, Katy B, and Mike Cotayo. Thank you very much.
Laughbox is a production of the Association for Applied and Therapeutic Humor. Visit us online at www.aath.org. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Music by Gary Rubio. For more information, www.garyrubiomusic.com.